Hello, this is Algebra 1, Topic 6-3, Factoring Trinomials. So, this is just a review of what we've been doing in the last two. We're going to be using the box method to factor. So we'll start off by drawing our box. Our squared term will go in the beginning. Our constant term will go at the end. And we want to find a sum of negative 13s and a product of negative 30s squared. So we have 30. We're going to figure out what multiplies to 30 to give us negative 13. And it's a negative 30. So I could do 1 and 30. Now I need one of these to be negative. I'm going to make this negative because that will give me negative answers. That gives me negative 29. Not what I want. 2 and negative 15. Well, that gives me negative 13. Which is what I want, that negative 13. So, I know I need 2 and negative 15, so 2s and negative 15s. Well, there's only one way to get s squared. That would be s times s. To get 2s, I need s times 2. I need negative 15s, I need s times negative 15. So my factors, I pull from the top. That would be s plus 2 and s minus 15. Make sure that your s's do not look like 5s. Whatever you need to do, curl your s's more. You could put little hash right there to say s. That looks kind of like an F to me, but as long as you can tell the letters from the numbers. Let's go ahead and move on to number 2. So we start off with our box. Our first term goes in the first box. Our last term goes in the last box. We want a sum of negative 3q and a product. 5 times 5 makes 25q squared. Almost forgot my squared term up here. And so we need to figure out what multiplies to 25 to give us negative 3. Well, 1 and 25, no. Doesn't work by 2 or 3. 5 and 5. Also, not seeming to work. That will equal negative 26. That equals negative 10. In fact, I can't find anything that will give me 25 when I multiply and 3 when I add. And so, our answer is just to write down the original equation because it doesn't work. Okay? And so that is q factored. We simply can't do it, so we're done. Well, let's look at number 3 and see if we can do number 3. We'll do our box. Here we have 2r squared and negative 14. We want a sum of 3r and a product of negative 28r squared. So we take 28, we want to break it down. Well, I know it's not 1 and 28. What about 2 and 14? No. 4 and 7. Actually, yes, because this is a negative, so we need it to be negative. Well, 2 minus 14 is negative 12. 4 minus 7 is negative 3. So, we have 4r and negative 7r. Well, I need to get 2r squared, so I can either do, I need to do 2r and r. Well, 2 will not give me 7. That means the 2r needs to go here, and the r needs to go there. So what times r will give me negative 7r? Well, negative 7. And what times 2r will give me 4r? That would be 2r. So my factors would be r. There's no r there. Plus 2. And 2r minus 7. So again, here we were able to find a match. On number 2, we were not. Let's go ahead and have a look at number 4. Start off with our box. (10y squared) and 7. We want a sum of negative 19y. My product of 70y squared. So I need to break down 70 and see if I can get 19. Well, 1 and 70 won't. 2 and 45, they won't. 70 will divide by 5 and give us 14. And this one will, if I make both of these negative. And so we have negative 5y and negative 14y. And so I need to figure out how I'm getting 10y squared. Well, I can do 1 and 10, or 2 and 5. Well, 10 won't give me 14, and 10 also won't give me 5. So it can't be that. 5 does give me 5, and 2 does give me 14. So this is 2y and 5y, make 10y squared. 5y times negative 1 will give me a negative 5y. 2y times a negative 7 will give me a negative 14y. And a negative 7 times a negative 1 gives me a positive 7. So my factors are 2y minus 1 and 5y minus 7. Continue to practice. You may want to pause the video and do some of these on your own, just to prove that you can to yourself. But here they did throw a little bit. Here we see 2 variables. Don't let it freak you out. It's the same principle. Our first term goes in the first box, 4y squared. Our last term in the last box. We still want our sum of 4xy, and our product this time would be negative 12x squared y squared. So we look at negative 12 and wonder, how do I get 4? Well, there's 1 and 12. That gives me 11. 2 and 6, with a 2 being negative, gives me 4. So I need a negative 2 and a 6. So negative 2, this time my letters are xy. And 6, xy. So now we look at this, and how do I get 4y? Well, I can do 1 and 4, or 2 and 2. Well, let's check the 4. 4 will not give me 2, and the 4 will not give me 6. So it must be 2y and 2y. Well, what times 2y will give me a negative 2xy? Well, that would be a negative x. Because negative times 2 gives me negative 2. The x comes here, and the y goes there. What times 2y will give me 6xy? Well, that would be 3x. Because 2 times 3 is 6. X is here, y is there. And 3 times negative makes negative 3. And x times x makes x squared. So we're good. And so our factors are 2y minus x and 2y plus 3x. Just a couple more problems to go. We're looking at number 6. Draw your box. Here we have u squared and v squared. Well, our sum needs to be 2 uv, and our product, u squared times v squared, would be u squared v squared. Since there's no number in front of it, that is 1. Well, how do we multiply to get 1? Well, the only way is 1 plus 1. And 1 plus 1 equals 2. So we have 1 uv and another 1 uv. Look at this. The only way to get u squared would be to be u times u. The only way to get uv would be u times v. And so we have u plus v, u plus v. Or, if you'll notice, these two are exactly the same, so we could write this as u plus v squared. And moving on to our last problem. Again, don't let the two variables confuse you. You may want to go ahead and try this one on your own, just to make sure you know how to do these. You should by now. But let's go ahead and do this. So 5k squared negative 2n squared. Our sum and product, negative 3kn, negative 10 k squared n squared. So we look at what multiplies to negative 10 will give me negative 3. Well, 1 and 10 make the 10 negative. That gives us negative 9. 2 and 5 make that 5 negative, gives us negative 3. So we want 2 kn and negative 5 kn. The only way to get 5 would be 1 and 5. Well, 5 will not give me 2, so that means I need to put it here. And 1 k will go there. What times 5k squared gives me negative 5kn? That would be a negative n. What times k gives me a 2kn? That would be 2n. And so my factors would be 5k squared plus 2n and k minus n. So this is mostly just a review of what we've already done. You'll notice that if we throw in a second variable, it really doesn't change anything. We just have to make sure that we include that variable in our steps. We also introduced running into problems that don't work, like number 2. We factored everything that 25 can be, 1 and 25, 5 and 5. Neither one of them added up to the negative 3. Because it didn't work, we just wrote the same thing out again. So, mostly review, a couple of new things, but don't let those bother you. Good luck on the assignment, and have a good day.